Hello everyone, so Saida here. I hope you're doing well tonight. I decided to go live and I hope you all are enjoying these live videos so far. I know I am. I really do like this format, so I'm going to try to give you all updates before I go live so you can catch me, but it really isn't a big deal. I mainly like to go live because it's more comfortable for me, and then I post a replay on YouTube. But thank you for those that are able to tune in, that are able to catch me when I come on. And also thank you to those who enjoy watching. So I wanted to talk about a couple of things today. One of the things is the Alta major chakra. And I wanted to talk about that because I did say in a previous video that I would be talking about it in another video. So I thought I would talk about it today. So the Alta major chakra, let me first say that I actually did not know what the Alta major chakra was until it opened for me. So it was only after it opened that I learned about it, and it was only after a few years of it opening that I started to come across information about it. So even when it opened at first, I still didn't know about it. I don't know why. I don't know why. I just didn't research it. I didn't really look into it. It's just something that happened to me, and I just accepted it as it happened, and that's where I ended up. And now I have a bit more information on it, and I could give you a little bit of insight. But even now, there isn't a lot of information on it. To this day, I feel like it's one of those chakras that's still developing in terms of our knowledge about it. And I do feel that for many people, it's not open to that degree. Like, I don't feel like it's one of the regular 7 that we know about, the main 7 that we know about. I don't feel like it's one of those energy centers that is wide open for people. I think it's something that has its own timeline of development, and I don't feel that every single person on this planet will have that chakra open up in this lifetime. So I just wanted to talk about my experience with it, and then give you my perspective on ways that you can perhaps open up the chakra a bit more for yourself. I don't know. This is just my perspective. I don't know if it's right or not. So let me just tell you about my experience. So it was, I would say, over a 2-day period, okay? I had gone to see Amma for the first time, and after the first day that I saw her, I was sleeping, and I was actually it was actually in the morning. I was preparing to see her the next day. I was with my now fiance, and I was in bed, and I was in one of those states. I was in between sleep and wakefulness, so I was in that kind of fuzzy period where you're in between. And what happened was my eyes were closed, and the darkness that was in front of my eyes actually got bigger. So it got further away from me. So if you close your eyes right now, the darkness is pretty much right there in front of you. But for me, during this experience, it started to get farther away. So actually, I started to have more space in my vision. And it was so weird because I had started to feel as though things around me and within me were shifting. So it's crazy because I knew I was in the room. I was in my room and I was lying down. But spiritually, energetically, I wasn't in the room. So, and what I had felt was that I was standing at the edge of a cliff. I was at a precipice of some kind. And in this big vastness, this space, it felt like I was being pulled in, okay? And at the time, I had no idea what was going on. And I was resisting it. And what I heard was this voice say, trust. And I mean, what a beautiful thing to hear when you feel like you're about to be pulled into the void, right? But at the time, I was like, nope, not doing it. I am not falling into some dark pit. Like, I have no idea where I'm going or where I'm going to be taken to. So I resisted it, just like for many years, during my awakening process. I resisted a lot of the spiritual experiences that started to occur for me because I was scared and I had no idea what was going on. So there was that experience, and I believe it was the next day, and I think it was the next morning. I was in bed, sleeping, but I was, again, in this sort of like in-between state. So I was in between being asleep and being awake, so it was kind of fuzzy. And in front of me, well, my eyes were closed, I saw a beautiful pink light, but it wasn't like this pink. It was like a deep fuchsia pink. Could have been red if it went deeper, but it was a pinkish red, kind of like fuchsia or magenta colored, more like fuchsia. And what I heard was a voice say, "You came from love, and love is where you will return." And it was at that instance that I felt the back of my head, like a gust of wind hit the back of my head, right at the base of my skull. Okay, so I felt that, and it felt like a tornado had blown through my skull at the base of my skull. And I was like, okay, I don't know what that was, but it felt weird. And I could remember that in this pink light there was some sort of presence. It could have been Kuan Yin, but it did feel like a divine feminine presence that was there with me during this experience. And that was pretty amazing. So that same day, I went to go see Amma again with my now fiance, and one of my friends was actually there, and he said he could feel a difference in my energy, and he didn't really know what happened, but he could feel something, that he could feel some sort of divine feminine thing. And I didn't tell the story to anyone, so it was pretty interesting that he was able to feel a difference in my energy at the time. So years and years go by, and you know, I just go on, not really thinking about like, oh, I wonder what happened to me that day where the back of my head blew up. You know, I was just going about my regular day and developing day by day. And what's interesting too, now see, I have to look back because I'm not sure what happened first, because this is a part of it, this next thing I'm going to tell you. What is called the forehead chakra, okay? Which is, oh, people were like, oh, is that the third eye? No, it's actually not. It's different. My forehead chakra opened up that same year, but I can't remember if it was before the Alta major chakra opened up or after. But the forehead chakra is actually right here. Some people also call it the hairline chakra. So it's right at the hairline, or like an inch or so back, right here. That chakra also opened up for me that same year. And it was when that chakra opened up, this was actually connected to, it's so interesting, this was actually connected to the energy of the Hathors. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, I actually posted a story about my interaction with the Hathors, but I think I'll make another video on it. I don't want to talk about everything in one video, but it was in that same year that this energy center opened up for me as well. Okay, so talking about the Alta major chakra, what is it? So from what I have read, it has been called either the mouth of God or the mouth of the goddess, okay? And it resides at the base of the skull, where the neck meets the skull, okay? And supposedly in different traditions, such as, you know, we have Egyptian mysticism or spirituality, as well as, from what I heard, Kabbalah, this energy point is a very significant point. And from what I understand, this area, this energy center, helps with supporting the energies of the higher aspects of the heart, okay? Which I'll actually get into a little bit when I talk about, what did I say I was going to talk about in here? The Alta major chakra. Actually I'll talk about it now because it wasn't really on my list. But when we're talking about the ascension process, I feel like not a lot of people talk about this, but the energy of the heart is so important for the ascension process. And I hear a lot of people speaking about the third eye and speaking about the crown and all that stuff, but the gateway into the ascension process is actually through the heart, okay? Because regardless of what we can develop in terms of our intuition and our psychic abilities and stuff like that, all of that stuff is not initiated through actually tuning into these centers. It's tuned into by going deep within the heart space, because the heart is a portal, and the heart portal is what guides you into the soul. Okay, and when we're in touch with our soul is when we're really starting to get in touch with the deeper aspects of who we are. And once we start really getting in the soul, and the soul is very personal, so it is a, how can I say this? It's the aspect of ourself that stores all of our memories, whether from this lifetime or previous lifetimes. You know, there's a lot that's stored in the soul, and if we can sift through that, we can actually start getting more clear access into our higher self, which is not as personal. It's more the purest version of ourselves, and it's connected to the divine, just pureness of the divine. So it's like us in our divinity. Okay, so I believe that the Alta major chakra is what helps us to sustain this higher level energy that is initiated through the heart. And I do feel that one of the main ways that the center is able to open is if we are able to tune into these higher level frequencies through the heart center. And then once we enter through the heart and we're able to connect to the crown and our connection to divinity and merge them together, the Alta major chakra helps us to support the expression of our divinity. And one of the things I read too is that it helps us to be able to communicate this physically. And so we're able to express our divine nature through our words and just through our entire expression. Now, what's interesting is that ever since I changed my diet, I have noticed this, like I said in my previous video, the Alta major chakra has been able to blossom more. And I notice a tingling right up here. So it's definitely, the energy is being amplified through me changing my diet. So one of the other things that I read and have experienced, apparently, is that the energy of the Alta major chakra needs to be sustained. It needs to be kept open. And one of the ways that you're able to keep it open is through eating well, through attuning your thoughts, through attuning your thoughts and through attuning your energy through to higher level perspectives, which is why I like to say affirmations in the morning, because it helps to align your mind to higher perspective. Okay, and I also feel that the Alta major chakra can be opened after a period of clearing, after periods of transformation. And guys, let me tell you, I have gone through a lot. I was going to say something else. I've gone through a lot in this journey, and I feel that this chakra opened up for me at the exact perfect moment. And after I guess you could say, after I've ripened enough to have it open. And I feel like it's the same thing for anybody else. I don't feel like this, now depending on what someone has signed up for in this lifetime, it may very well open up during a period where for the person it seems random, but I don't feel that this chakra opens up randomly. And I also don't feel like this chakra opens up to people where they could possibly misuse any kind of power that they do have. So I don't feel that the chakra opens up to people that don't have good intentions. I feel like your intentions have to be positive. I feel like they have to be pure. And I feel that you need to have cultivated enough light and unconditional love, or at least have that intention, in order for this chakra to be able to open. So I would suggest continuing to, I mean, if this is something that you're interested in, I mean, you can have that intention, but I also feel like it's important to kind of be open to the process, as with all aspects of your spiritual journey, is to be open to the process and to how things evolve for you. Because a lot of the things that happened for me, I was just following my heart. I wasn't doing anything that I felt I should be doing if I'm spiritual. I was just following my heart. It's like I knew at the time in 2014, when I signed up for a course to be certified as an intuitive counselor, that was something that my heart really wanted. Like, I really wanted to help people evolve spiritually. So I was just following my heart by doing that. And I had always had an interest in intuition and developing psychically. And so there was a part of me that wanted to discover that as well. And one of the things that's very important to remember about intuition is that we need to use it for ourselves first and foremost, okay? Before we start helping other people or making that our prime focus, our main focus needs to be using the intuition that we have for ourselves and our own journey as our compass, okay? That's really important. So what I've noticed has been good for the Alta major chakra as well. Amethyst, that's like the all-around good crystal for like stuff like that, right? Amethyst has been very good for the Alta major chakra, but also keeping my diet right has been really important, because I noticed, I mean, my diet wasn't bad before, but what I noticed is that before I was eating pretty well, but there were certain things that I was getting a little bit lax about. Like, I'm lactose intolerant and I was eating dairy, and at this point, once in a while I'll have that, but it's not something that I have as much as I was having it before. So I've decreased my dairy intake significantly. I would say maybe doubled my vegetable intake, and I drink more teas now. Yeah, so I feel like diet and nutrition was like the main thing that really helped me to open it up, because I said in my previous video that I feel the energy was trying to amplify, was trying to come through, but because my diet wasn't right and I wasn't taking care of myself, like I said, it wasn't that bad, but there were certain things I needed to get rid of. The energy was starting to back up here. Okay, and it was causing pain around my eyes. Now, one of the reasons why that makes sense is because the Alta major chakra is a part of a network. Okay, so we have the Alta major chakra, and then we have the third eye here, and then we have the hairline chakra here, and the crown. And I think some people include like the throat as part of it too. I can't remember. I'd have to look it up. But all of this is a network. All of these things work together. So when you have the Alta major chakra that's activated, and then the forehead, the hairline chakra that's activated, all these things work together to bring through this higher level, I don't want to say information, it's more like the codes of your higher self. All of that stuff is able to come through a lot easier. So if you resist that in any sort of way, you're going to start to have problems, okay? So that's the Alta major chakra. And if you've had any experiences with it, please let me know and comment down below. So there's the Alta major chakra. Another thing I wanted to talk about a little bit was some of the energy shifts that have been happening recently. What I have noticed for myself is that I am truly beginning to say goodbye to the old me. And I always talk about authenticity and how important it is on the spiritual path. But I feel this month has been really pivotal for doing that for a lot of people. And I feel like a lot of us are being asked at this time, what is it that you're holding on to, that you've identified with, that you've used to verify, or what's the word, that you've used to secure your existence as a spiritual being? I believe that our existence as spiritual beings, and the beauty of that, is unconditional. It doesn't have anything to do with how we look, or, you know, certain qualities that we feel. I don't know why. Sometimes I just can't come up with the right words for things. And when I come off, I'm going to come up with the right word. But for us, it's like what we come up with these different conditions as to, you know, I need to have this in order to be beautiful, or I need to have this quality in order to be considered a good person, Or what we talked about in the last video, I need to have this amount of money to be considered abundant. And I think what this transition is teaching us is that what and who we are has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with all of these things. I feel that we're being asked to step into our authenticity now more than ever. And our authenticity is very much about just our pure existence and what our heart guides us to do at any given point. And it might change over time. We don't know what's going to happen. But it's really asking us to step forward and allow ourselves to be seen, to allow ourselves to shine our light, and to not have to have certain things together first. I know for me, that's like something that I've been working on. Not actively, but it's something that's been coming up over and over again. It's like, oh, you want to use this to justify your sense of beauty or how you feel about yourself? Well, let's strip that away from you. You know, I feel like that's happening to me, and it seems to be happening for other people too. Okay? So we're being asked to embrace the beauty of who we are, but we're asked to do it in such a way that it's not conditional. So we're being asked to embrace the beauty of who we are in just our pure existence, and what changes for us physically or how it's expressed physically is just a reflection of that, but it's not the totality of it. Okay, so I feel like this transition is asking us to really be unconditionally loving with ourselves. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to talk about here was one of the keys to mastery. And I talked about this on Instagram, but I wasn't able to download and save the video, so I guess I'll talk about it a little bit here. Is when it comes to spirituality and moving into mastery, one of the things that we have to remember is that in order for us to move into our mastery, we have to be willing to trust ourselves and to be able to go within, utilize our intuition, to utilize our inner compass, to be able to navigate through our lives. And we have to be careful of allowing other people to dictate what's right for us, because that's not what this journey is about, and that's not what's going to lead you into self-mastery. It's called self-mastery for a reason, okay? So what we have to do to come into our mastery is really learn how to go within. That's what spirituality is about. It's about us connecting to ourselves first, okay? And it's about us also going within in order to explore the universe that we have within ourselves. And books are great. Books are awesome. Teachers are great. And I feel that all of these things are important if you're trying to learn more about something, or if you need a bit of guidance, if you need a push. But I don't feel that you need to have a teacher every single step of the way on this journey. Because if you always have a teacher telling you what's right, or a reader, even if you always have somebody external telling you what's right and what you're supposed to be doing, that's not going to lead you to mastery. You have to learn how to trust yourself and to trust where you're being guided, where you're being directed. You can't have outside people or outside influences always telling you what you need to do. Now, the more you start listening to yourself, you're going to receive confirmation of that. You know, you're going to receive some kind of confirmation to let you know that you're on the right track. But you shouldn't make your main focus on having other people dictate to you what's right for you. To make other people's opinions your opinions. That's not what this journey is about. It really is about us getting in touch with ourselves. Once we're able to really get in touch with ourselves, like that's the main thing. That's how we're going to be able to help other people. That's how we're going to be able to make a change in the world. And through us connecting to ourselves, you'll notice that the world around you begins to change. The reality that you're able to tap into begins to change, okay? So you'll notice too that the reality that you were seeing, let's say before you became aware or before you woke up, is very different than the reality that you start to tap into once you've woken up. And it's not to say that all of these different realities are not available to us. Like, that's the thing. That's what this journey teaches us, is that all of these realities are available to you now. Which one are you going to choose? This is part of what people mean when they say you create your reality. That's what's happening. You're creating your reality, but the thing is that you're not necessarily creating it from scratch. It's all of these different options are available to you. So which one are you going to choose? And what you choose is going to be based on what you believe, and what you believe is going to be based on whatever ideas you have cultivated within yourself through your experience. And you can change that, you can heal that, you can shift that, okay, in such a way that it's most beneficial to you. So, like I said, books are great, teachers are great. Like, with me, I teach this stuff, but I'm like, don't take my word for it. Experience it yourself. I don't want people to hang on to every word I'm saying. I want people to have their own experience. That's how you're going to get to mastery, okay? So, yeah, so that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. I'm feeling a little bit funny because I feel like I'm processing something, so it's kind of messing with my ability to communicate exactly how I want to, but I don't think I did too bad. So I hope this video has helped you in some way and is giving you some sort of insight. And I'll be posting this on YouTube, so be on the lookout for it if you weren't able to catch me live. So I'll see you around next time. Have a good one.